Feliz Domingo. Hola. Buenos días. Yo soy la doctora Elizabeth Samantha Rothschild Huesa, fundadora y pastora de la Iglesia Anunciación Santa Católica y Apostólica. Okay, so let's see what I wanted to talk about today. First thing, it's on. You see that? Okay, so there's the evidence for those. I told y'all I was going to be in penance. I didn't even do nothing. But anyways, what I want to talk about. Let me talk about these tithes. The tithe, the tenth that I want to get. I'm trying to get some tithes. I'm looking for wealthy church members because we've got a mission. And what we want to do is subsidize the EBT food stamp program with the United States Department of Agriculture. So, if you've been in ministries and you've been bringing your tithes from your wealth and it hasn't been used properly, try my ministry. I'll do the right things with your tithes. I won't spend them on me. I got my own money. The tithe is for meat in the storehouse of God, okay? Meat in his house. So the tithes go in the storehouse for meat in God's house, and that's what I put 100% of the tithes to. So I want everybody to keep that in mind because that is one of my missions in my ministry, Annunciation Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, of which I am the founder and pastor. Ugh. Okay. Is there anything else that I wanted to cover this morning besides this penance going on? This is, but I dare not complain, and, you know, I didn't even do nothing. That's just a phrase. It's something. But we owe it to God to be remorseful for our sins and transgressions. And when there is no oblatant sin and no oblatant transgression, we owe it to God to be remorseful for our very human nature. Okay? All right. Let's see. I'm still waiting to move into my house. I'm getting that done. Oh, let's talk about where I'm employing persons. Now, in past times, every single time I find someone or people whom I feel would be a great asset to my company, something happens, okay? So now, I finally got a good executive assistant, and she has an MBA. And so the intelligence of the work is fine. And I am certain that everything will work out good for us because we love the Lord and we are called according to his purpose. So I'm looking at that and got these things going on. You know, the most nuisance thing most thing that was a great nuisance about it all is as soon as I get the paperwork done, authorizing anything, then everything goes berserk, and then I have to undo all of this paperwork and make my adjustments and everything, and that is time consuming, something I don't have time for. So that is why I'm handpicking. I'm selecting personally my primary people in both my church, my parish, and then my corporation. Okay, now I have these spin-offs and I have to be just as careful about things because I do not want corruption in my organizations, and that is what I'm working against. Anyone that cannot understand that does not understand accountability, because ultimately, for me, for my foundations, for me being the founder, I am accountable. So I'm still in prayer about that and continuing on in true business and true ministry with regard. Okay, so I've got a lot of things going on and pressing basically the same things, just improving. step by step, little by little, one day at a time. And that is a great, perfect thing. Okay. So I'm bringing people in and getting ready to liquidate, and everything is set up, waiting on appointments. And in the meantime, still having to address issues of corruption wherever I am, because that's my job. That's what I do. All right, now that I am the governor of the federal estate of Washington, D.C., we're planning the inaugural ceremony and things of that nature. All of this is new for D.C., and we will not be imposed upon. Therefore, we will not impose. So we have the presidential ceremony coming up in January. That's a regular thing every 4 years. So we were shooting for February. And I don't know if we're actually going to do it in February. Either way, the governor will have home and home office with a host for a maximum of 6 years and 31 days. And that's about how long we have to get it together to provide for the estate, gubernatorial complex, Capitol building, and other estate agencies. In the meantime, as the governor, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I have a lot of agenda up. And what needs to be considered is that there is a lot of accountability in the federal estate of Washington, D.C. that exceeds the office of the mayor. And it needs to be in gubernatorial state for administration. Okay. And those same things, they are a little bit lower than what the presidential accountability is. So with that imbalance, those things that are in between, all of that goes into the gubernatorial administration, okay? Pardon me. So there's some works that are going on that need to be adjusted and undertaken. Federal agencies that are not primary federal agencies to say the highest regard to the president, and they're not, and they are exceeding to, the mayoral administration, which, by the way, that term is going to be escalated to ambassador, which is a little bit higher than the former term. Okay, we'll get into that later. Just wanted to do a little update on the federal agency. So at this point, we're going through the list to determine those things that they're just a lot of extra work for the presidential office, and they really do belong to the curation of the federal estate, yet they exceed the mayoral capacity, which is why I was installed at a high recommendation from our own Mayor Muriel Bowser. Okay, so those things that go into the state, the estate, they will be portioned off to the 3 ambassadors that will take over the 3 provinces. That's pretty much how that's going. So I have federal agenda with regard to federal agencies just because they are headquartered in the federal estate of Washington, D.C. So that's what's going on with that. And so you all will see a lot more of that in the agenda as we go forward. And I will be issuing a press conference release statement with regard to those things that I've discussed today, to where, you'll have it in print. You can look at it and understand the details yourself. All right. Now, I'm going to go see about getting some coffee from somewhere. You all have a blessed Sunday.